das Klavier, die Gitarre, der Cello und die Geige, der Sessel, der Stuhl, der Sessel, der Stuhl, der Schreibtisch, der Teppich, das Regal, der Fernseher, das Bild, die Bilder, die Bücher, das Bett, das Telefon, die Lampe, das Regal, das Bild, der Wecker, das Radio, der Schrank, der Schreibtisch, das Regal, das Klavier, die Gitarre, der Cello und die Geige, der Sessel, der Stuhl, der Sessel, der Stuhl, der Schreibtisch, der Teppich, der Fernseher, das Regal, das Bild, die Bilder, die Bücher, das Bett, das Telefon, die Lampe, das Regal, das Bild, der Wecker, das Radio, der Schrank, der Schreibtisch, das Regal. So, welcome to my kitchen. Now I'm going to explain a grammatical topic to you that we're learning in this chapter, and I want to explain it to you in English so that you get how it works, and then we can practice using it in class in German, so I think it'll be helpful to just give you this brief explanation. You need to understand a little bit about the grammar of sentences first, before you can understand how this works in German. So, first of all, we need to write a sentence. For example, we're talking about things that you have in your room, and we learned some vocabulary. So let's say that one of the things we want to talk about is das Klavier. And we just want to write a sentence about it. Das Klavier ist braun. Okay? Now in a sentence like this, we want to look at what is the subject of the sentence. In this case, the subject of our sentence is das Klavier. So we're going to underline that and call that our subject. Then we have a verb, the action word, in this case the verb to be, sein, and we've conjugated it for that thing in the third person, which is das Klavier ist. So this is going to be our verb right here, okay? We'll put a squiggly line under for the verb, okay? And this is just an adjective that's going to describe that. So we don't have anything else really important in this sentence other than das Klavier ist. Subject, verb. Now I want to write another sentence. Ich habe das Klavier. So now we want to say that I have the piano. I own it. It belongs to me. In this case, we want to also look at what's the subject of the sentence. Here, the subject is ich. I'm the subject. I'm the one who is acting out this verb here. And our verb in this sentence is habe. Habe is our verb, action verb. What do I have? I am the one who has something. Now the next question is, what do we do with das Klavier in this case? Ich habe das Klavier. In this case, Klavier, we're going to underline it twice, is what we call the direct object of the verb. I am the subject. I'm the one who's doing whatever the verb says. I have. But then we have to ask the question, well, what's receiving the action of the verb? And whatever or whomever is receiving the action of the verb is the direct object. So you ask yourself, what do I have? I have the piano. Ich habe das Klavier. And that makes das Klavier the direct object of the sentence. Now, why is this important, are you asking? Why do we even need to know what this is? Because in German it makes a difference. For example, we need to know that the subject of a sentence is always in the nominative case. Nominative case. Now the nominative case might sound fancy, but all it is what we've already learned, which is der, die, das, and then die for the plural. Each of those are in the nominative case. That's how we learn them. When you learn them in the most basic case, which is the nominative case, which is when they are the subject of the sentence. Das Klavier ist braun. Die Gitarre ist alt. Der Sessel ist rot. All of those are the subject of the sentence, and so we use this definite article right here. The question here is, what happens when the object becomes the direct object in the sentence? And in that case, the direct object is always in the accusative case. And the accusative case looks very similar to the nominative case, but with one exception, and that's your der. When a der word is used as the direct object in a sentence, it changes to den. The rest of them stay the same. Der, die, das, and die. So this is the nominative case. These are the ones we know already. The new thing that you have to learn for this chapter is that der changes to den. The masculine case, der, changes to den when it's used as a direct object. So what does that look like in German? In the case of Klavier, it doesn't really do anything because das doesn't change from the nominative to the accusative case. But what would happen if we used a der word? Well, let's think about a der word that we just learned in our vocabulary list. A der word would be der Stuhl. We have der Stuhl. If you say, der Stuhl ist braun, what is der Stuhl in that sentence? What role does it play in that sentence? In this sentence, it's our subject. And subjects are always in the nominative case, so we say der Stuhl. But now, if we say ich habe, I'll leave that blank for a second. If we say ich habe, what's the subject of that sentence? Ich. What's our verb? Habe. What do I have? I have. I'm the one who has something. But what do I have? What's receiving the action of the verb? Well, that's our Stuhl, of course. And in this case, it's the direct object. And direct objects are always in the accusative case. So instead of saying ich habe der Stuhl, we say ich habe den Stuhl. All of that work to change one letter. But it is important, and it's something that you're going to learn as you go along, and you're going to recognize this as you see it in some of the texts and some of the things that you're listening to as we go along. So let's try another der word. How about, we have a whole lot of der words in that list. We have das Bett, der Wecker. Okay. Der Wecker ist schwarz. Der Wecker ist schwarz. Subject, verb, adjective. No direct object in that sentence. Okay? I love my alarm clock. It's just the best alarm clock ever. Ich liebe blank Wecker. In this case, what's your subject? Ich. What's the verb? Liebe. And what or whom do I love? I love my alarm clock. So, that's the direct object. It's receiving the action of the verb. It is being loved. So, Wecker is the direct object. We see the direct objects are always accusative. It's der Wecker. We're going to change that to den. Ich liebe den Wecker. Okay? Alright, so that is a grammatical explanation. Now you know that, and when you come to class tomorrow, or whenever the next class is, you will have an understanding of how this works, and we'll try it out and practice it. Thank you. Cheers.